What's up? What the fuck is up? So today we're going to do something a little different. It's about the first time I've had a chance to do this particular video. I wanted this to have its own little sort of like a section because I just think it's a fantastic release. Maybe my favourite of the year. But from Dissonant Productions, from this year, we've got the Lock-Up box set. Sorry, Brethren of the Pentagram. So, this has the debut, Pleasure Pave Sewers, probably wrong. The follow-up, Hey Breeds Suffering. Then we've got Necropolis Transplant, and we've got before now I don't think it had been released on CD. This is a disc from Japan that was called Play Fast or Die. Okay, so for those in the know, Lock-Up. Lock-Up is kind of like a super group. Has Shane Embry, has at this point has Kevin Sharp from Brutal Truth, has Anton, the dude from Pentagram from Chile. Adam Jarvis, I think, is a drummer. It's kind of been a revolving supergroup and doorway for a bunch of musicians. The most notable lineups that you would probably know are the one off the first album, which was... Alright, let's have a look. Shane Embry, Peter from Hypocrisy, Nick Barker, and Jesse Pintaro. That's a pretty good fucking lineup in extreme metal. So this is the debut from 1990. No, wait, let's have a look. 1999. This is a fantastic album. It's a very satanic death grind kind of like kicking the dick. It's a very fucking good album. It's a great album. But then, because Peter had Hypocrisy and was doing the Abyss Studios in Sweden, he was constantly busy and didn't have the time for this to even progress any further. He decides to step away. In the second album, what you get is Tompa from At the Gates joining. And I think this second album, Hate Breeds Suffering, is the pinnacle of their career. It's just an absolute fucking blitzkrieg of death grind. Like, oh my god, it's so fucking great. And go forward a few years, when they did start to throw around the idea of playing shows, they went to Japan, apparently with Converge, to do a couple of shows. But they did this. And this is, Jesus Christ, put this on and it's like 45 minutes. It's just, it's gone by the time you put it on, but oh my god, it's fantastic. So this is 2005, I think. Yes, so this is from, they played 3 shows in Japan. They recorded every night, and this is what they thought was the best material from all 3 of those nights. But, yeah. I have a feeling, but I could be wrong, there's at least there's Terrorizer cover within their set, and another cover, something else. And okay, so go forward a few years. At the Gates have reunited, playing shows on a more regular basis. I think even started the idea of throwing around a new album. So Tompa steps away, and Kevin Sharp joins the picture, and you get Necropolis Transplant. And I think this is a great album. I like the cover. The cover is very good. But this point also Jesse has passed away, and Anton has joined the fold, and so that's it's a slightly different lineup. But Nick's still there, Shane's still there. But yeah, those are the discs. Now, can't really say that I would have really rather dual cases, but Lockup is really hard to find, especially the early stuff. So this is just great to have in the collection. But what it does come, and this is probably the selling point for nerds, is a really cool booklet that has different artwork, gig posters, interview with Shane from this year, even mentioning Tompa's passing. With Nick's involved and Anton's involved. And I have a feeling if Tompa had still been kicking around, he probably would have been involved as well. But no, this is just, it's got gig posters and all sorts of unreleased pictures and stories, and talking about how the band was originally supposed to start, and how they threw around the idea of Lee Dorian joining, and apparently there are demos somewhere. Talked about Mitch Harris being involved. Colin Richardson couldn't do it because he was dinging, is weird about it. Mentioned somebody else had been talking, they talked to, but I can't really remember. But no, this is absolutely fantastic. It's a great, that would have been a good show. Lockup, Power Trip, Brahadia, and Napalm. So I had the tour, sorry, not the tour, I had the chance many years ago. There was a tour that hit Australia. It was Napalm headline, Braharia direct support, and opening was Lockup. But at the time, I didn't quite understand Braharia's music, so I kind of missed that, and I regret that because it would have been absolutely insane. I think Nick Barker was still touring with the band at that point, so he would have been playing in Lockup and Braharia. Oh god, it would have been an absolutely fucking wild show. But no. I thought maybe they might have had a picture of that tour, but no, this is fantastic. I don't know if these things are going to get re-released on vinyl. I know Necropolis has been, but they do have more material. They've got Demonization, I think, is the one that follows this. I've got that, and which has Kevin Sharp, and then Tom had rejoined the band, and they did the Dregs of Hades. That's like a co-vocal one. That's not really one I've connected with over the years, but I should go back. Obviously, now Tom has passed. Nobody really knows what's going to happen with Lockup. I would like to see some sort of a revival, because it's such a great catalogue, and it's such an important supergroup band, I guess you could say. And something I had raised with a friend of mine was, imagine if Tompa had have joined the band instead of Peter and done the debut he was on the debut as well as the second album. And then the other thought was, imagine if Peter hadn't have had to leave and could have found time and done the second album and Tompa never joined. I think that would have been vastly different material in terms of maybe lyrical content, because I know Tompa is very he wrote with a lot of philosophy philosophy, that's the word. And he wrote with a lot of like, he wrote some really interesting lyrics. And if you go back and read through the At the Gate lyrics, especially towards the last few albums, they're very interesting. But this was just Satan, blood, gore, and violence. Alright, so what I will do is I'll rank them. That's my favourite. It's always been my favourite. Then we got the debut. I'm throwing in this because this is a blitzkrieg of 45 minutes of fucking carnage. And then I'm going to go with this. And it's not because I don't like this. I really enjoy this. But to me, this is like peak Lockup. This is peak like death grind. Yeah. So, this is Dissonance Productions under Cherry Red record label. This is a little clamshell thingy. Yeah. I think that I know for a fact this is still available. I had to order my copy from England, but it doesn't matter. So yeah, if you want some good death grind death metal in your collection, you want some really good, like a really good supergroup, or you just want some really good heavy shit, go buy the Lockup box set, because I can't say anything bad about it because it's so fucking good. But this is Lockup. This is one I wanted to do its own little video for because I thought it was worth it. Alright, so I don't know when I'll be able to go back to my collection videos, but we're trying to get there. I've got a Carcass video still in the works. I've got a top 30 albums, death metal albums. I'm nearly finished. Yeah, so that's it. Remember, stay underground, go fuck yourselves.